Pacifica is deeply heterodox in multiple dimensions. Pacifica is heterodox because it does not fit clean ideological boxes. It mixes natural rights constitutionalism, progressive libertarianism, distributism, municipalism, sociocracy, cybernetic governance, and strong public welfare commitments in one system. It also combines classical liberal limits on power with unusually detailed administrative machinery, plus unusual provisions on smart cities, open-source government, UAP, extraterrestrial agencies, food sovereignty, and land stewardship. Radical economic heterodoxy. 1. Largely abolishes taxation replaced by voluntary donations and state-owned enterprises, limited taxes on automation, business, and excessive wealth or land hoarding. 2. Fully reserved commodity currency, no fiat money, no fractional reserve banking. 3. Progressive wealth caps, Lockean proviso enforced by law. 4. Automation impact charges tax on robot labor. 5. Land hoarding penalties to prevent speculative ownership. 6. State-owned enterprises competing with private business. 7. Integrityware, open-source economic model. Radical social heterodoxy. 1. Complete drug legalization, including hard substances with regulation. 2. Limited age of consent restrictions but there is parental liability. 3. Legalized prostitution, polygamy, incest with conditions. 4. No mandatory education, homeschooling guaranteed. 5. Right to euthanasia and resurrection. 6. No birth certificate requirements for undocumented persons. Radical political heterodoxy. 1. Three-person executive consulate must be unanimous. 2. Direct democracy plus representative republic hybrid. 3. Citizens' courts, juries as judges of law and fact. 4. Right to nullification, states can nullify federal law. 5. Right of secession. 6. No professional judges, judges cannot be lawyers. 7. Mandatory psychedelic use for war declarations. Radical technological heterodoxy. 1. Ternary balanced ternary logic systems mandated. 2. FPGA ownership rights cannot be locked down. 3. Right to own weapons parity with military except WMDs. 4. AI rights as animals, androids as persons. 5. Prohibition on client-side scanning. 6. Right to time travel as private property. Radical environmental heterodoxy. 1. Rights of nature, legal standing for ecosystems. 2. Prohibition on geoengineering. 3. Animal rights, legal standing, welfare protections. 4. Prohibition on petrochemical plastics. 5. Mandatory food forests and public campsites. Pacifica is characterized as an ambitious attempt to create a hybrid constitutional philosophy rather than fitting neatly into a traditional ideology. It blends elements of libertarianism, social democracy, populism, municipalism, technocracy, and environmental constitutionalism. Its stated goal is to maximize individual liberty while using government as a transparent public service rather than a ruling class. Whether it would succeed in practice would depend heavily on implementation, institutional culture, and judicial interpretation, not just on the constitutional text. Pacifica appears designed to benefit several groups at once. Citizens who want strong civil liberties plus material security. People who distrust bureaucracies, corporate capture, and elite technocracy. Locals, municipalities, and regions that want more autonomy and bio-regional control. Small producers, farmers, and community-based economies protected from speculative ownership and monopolistic drift. Technically skilled reformers who want open-source governance and data-driven administration. It also clearly benefits a political class that believes it can improve society through constitutional engineering, because the text grants that class a lot of authority to design systems, certify algorithms, structure welfare, and manage border and security institutions. Pacifica offers a direct structural fix to political polarization by stripping corporate funds from elections, removing party labels from ballots, and replacing gridlock with direct citizen initiatives. By funding public goods through competitive state-run co-ops rather than coercive taxation, it aims to reconcile individual liberty with modern social and environmental needs. Pacifica is plausibly one of the most ambitious attempts to fuse liberty, dignity, material security, localism, and accountability into a single constitutional design. Its strongest claim is that a free society needs more than just less government. It needs a government that is structurally prevented from becoming an instrument of domination while still capable of delivering basic order, welfare, and public goods. Its weakest point is that the text itself is so broad and internally tensioned that the same machinery built to protect freedom could also become a vehicle for intrusive managerial power if its limits are not sharply enforced. The best way to understand Pacifica is not as an absolute state, but as a rights-claimed republic with unusually strong counter-authoritarian safeguards and unusually strong administrative ambitions. That is precisely why libertarians may see both a promise and a danger in it. Someone advocating for Pacifica could argue that it seeks to synthesize ideas often viewed as opposites. Economically innovative while constitutionally restrained. Technologically advanced while transparent. Socially compassionate while emphasizing individual liberty. Environmentally conscious while protecting property rights. Decentralized while maintaining national cohesion. Pro-market while opposing corporate capture. Pro-government services while limiting governmental power. The central thesis appears to be that liberty is preserved not merely by making government small, but by making it transparent, constitutionally constrained, personally accountable, decentralized, and continuously answerable to citizens. Pacifica is one of the most comprehensive, internally consistent attempts to hard-code solutions to the specific cluster of grievances that have accumulated in the United States since roughly the 1970s: fiscal expansion, surveillance, institutional unaccountability, regulatory capture, welfare design flaws, loss of local control, and erosion of individual sovereignty. Its strength is the willingness to treat natural rights as prior and to design institutional firewalls against the very pathologies that libertarians, classical liberals, and many populists complain about. Its weaknesses are practical. Extreme length and detail make adoption and coherent interpretation difficult. Some technological and cultural prescriptions are eccentric or premature. The simultaneous commitment to robust welfare baselines and abolition of general taxation creates an unresolved funding tension, and any real-world implementation would face enormous transition and coordination problems. Whether it is the best is a normative judgment that depends on one's ranking of values. For someone who prioritizes maximal individual sovereignty, non-aggression, transparency, and a high barrier against concentrated power while still accepting a constrained public sector for certain baselines and public goods, Pacifica is among the strongest written proposals available. For someone who prioritizes simplicity, pure negative liberty, or different trade-offs on equality and security, it will look over-engineered or insufficiently radical in the other direction. The document itself treats the Constitution as subject to line veto, amendment, and periodic re-ratification by the living generation, consistent with Jefferson's view that no constitution should be perpetual. That humility is one of its more attractive features.